Hi, everyone. So if you had me last year as your student teacher, you know what time it is. It's story time. More like it's me reading some of our class play this time. The last time was class novel to all of you. So we are starting A Raisin in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry. This is a really, really good play. It is still relevant today. In 2008, the Guthrie Theater did a production of A Raisin in the Sun, and even Egan High School did a production of A Raisin in the Sun in around the same time that the Guthrie Theater did. And it's still being done everywhere. And this was a play that was written in like the 60s. So it isn't one of those old dry novels that was written a long, long time ago by some white guy that blends in with all the other white guys because they all look the same with like old man beards and that really scholarly old author look that they got going on. We actually have a play that is written by a female writer. It says cameo, a female writer. And also she's a Black female writer, which is a really big deal during the 1960s because of the civil rights movement that was going on. And she actually wrote this play and it picked up, and it wasn't supposed to. She didn't think it would have become as famous as it did for a very long time because of the stuff that was going on during the time. To set us up, the Younger family lives in a high-rise in Chicago. So a high-rises were created during the early 20th century because of the Great Migration. And the Great Migration was essentially it was like 6 million Black Americans leaving the South to go up to cities in the North because, one, the large amounts of racism that was in the South, and also the bitterness of the Civil War, and two, opportunities for a better life, and there's opportunities of work in cities. So that's why there was large populations of Black Americans going to Chicago, Minneapolis, New York, all those northern states, because they wanted to have work. They wanted a better life. They didn't want to have to have this awful treatment that was going on in the South. Even though slavery was abolished, there's still racism going on, right? So in order to have housing for this large influx of people coming into the city, they created these high rises that were these skinny buildings that are super, super tall. And on these floors that they'd have like a shared bathroom for multiple tenants on that floor. The living style wasn't ideal. We have apartments today, but they're like, you have your own bathroom. A lot of them are a lot more spacious, but these were small, tight quarters, and a lot of people would be living in one little apartment room, and they didn't even have their own bathroom. They had to share it with neighbors. And imagine waiting to use the bathroom because some guy next door is like taking forever in there. And imagine like having to get ready for school, which we have the youngest that is having that problem as well. So when you have a lot of people living in a close population together, you can see this in like, they call them slums. During World War II, they would put, they made all these Jewish people leave their homes and move them to these slums. So there are a bunch of people stuck in tight quarters, and then you have poverty, you have crime, and that just happens when you move a population of people into tight quarters. We butt heads with each other, and and poverty also um, just leads to illness and unhappiness. You know, you need space to move and to breathe and to be the human you are. So that's kind of going on in A Raisin in the Sun. Is the younger family is living in this high up in this high rise, looking out over Chicago and dreaming of having a life better than what they have. And that kind of goes along with the American dream aspect, that people came to America, that immigrants and refugees come to America to escape a harsh life that they are living and to have a better life. That is the American dream, essentially. Even though in our world right now, it seems that the American dream is slipping because of all the societal issues that we have. So I am going to start us out on Act 1, Scene 1. And you guys are going to read the rest. I can't read the whole thing to you, but I will get us started, like I did with To Kill a Mockingbird. So before I start, I'm also going to give a little bit more of a backstory. Lorraine Hansberry bases this play off of her real life experience. And you guys have done, or you should have done, the pre-reading assignment that I gave you that is all about Lorraine Hansberry and where this play originates from. But essentially, her family lived in one of these types of buildings, and they moved out. They moved into a neighborhood, and this neighborhood was an all-white neighborhood. And they moved in, and of course, all of the neighbors were angry. They're like, you can't live here because you're Black. This is a white association. And this actually happened in places in Minneapolis and St. Paul. There's these deeds and stuff that say that a Black person cannot buy this property or own this house, which is awful. And it is, it doesn't happen now, obviously. At least I don't think it does. But that's just something that happened during that time, because racism was so thick. And I mean, we still have problems with racism today, but at least, I mean, we don't have these stupid deeds or rules of certain parties being able to live where they want to. So anyways, there's this court case, and her dad was like, no, we can live here. We are human beings. We're allowed to live here. And they took it to court, and they won because their association they didn't have enough signatures in the neighborhood saying that they were associations, so they weren't. So they had nothing to uphold their argument, and they got to keep living there. And I am going to try my best to find some clips from Jim Crow in the North, because there's a story that is in Minneapolis about I believe a World War I veteran, and his family had the same experience. And he's like, I fought for our country. I deserve to be able to be treated fairly and live where I want to with my family and to feel safe. So that's kind of where we're at. And we have 3 generations that are living in this house. We have Mama, she's like the grandmother. Then we have Walter, his wife, and his sister. And then we also have Walter's and his wife's son. So our play starts with, what happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over, like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode? Langston Hughes, he's an awesome poet. All right. Act 1. Time, the early 1950s. Place, Chicago's South Side. At rise, it is morning dark in the living room. Travis snores. He's the youngest. Asleep on the make-down bed at center. Walter is in his and Ruth's bedroom at the right. An alarm clock sounds in bedroom. Ruth rises from bed, shuts off alarm, raises the window shade, closes window, shivers, puts on robe, slippers, grabs Travis's shirt, towel, toothbrush, glass, and clock. And she opens the door to the living room, crosses to sofa, shakes Travis, places his towel and shirt on back of sofa. Clock and against on buffet upstage right. She crosses to kitchen, raises the shade, closes window, washes face. She calls to Travis in a slightly muffled voice between yawns, ad-lib. So they're saying that Ruth is like, the actress is ad-libbing. She's just saying things that you would say in the morning when you're waking up your son. Wake up, Travis, come on now, boy. She pulls pillow over his hand. So this goes on to describe what Ruth looks like. She's in her 30s. She's a pretty girl, but you can tell that she has had a lot of expectations and disappointments, and it's starting to show in her appearance. She's starting to look weary. Come on now, boy, it's 7:30. Hits Travis on butt, puts milk and paper on buffet. I say, hurry up, Travis. You ain't the only person in the world got to use a bathroom. So this is going back to the fact that they have a shared bathroom. It's after 7:30. Let me see you do some waking up in here now. Now that's Walter. Walter is the father. You better get up from there, man. It's after 7:30, I tell you. Walter groans and covers his head. She sets table. All right, you just go ahead and lay there. Next thing you know, Travis be finished and Mr. Johnson will be in there and you'll be fussing and cussing around here like a madman and be late too. Walter Lee, it's time for you to get up. So actually this was Ruth, Walter Lee's wife, like trying to get him out of bed because Travis has to go to school and Walter Lee needs to get to work. So then Walter gets up. Walter, is he out yet? Ruth, what do you mean out? He ain't hardly got in there good yet. Walter, now he's still sleepy. Well, what was you doing all that yelling for if I can't even get in there yet? Chuck coming today? Ruth, they said Saturday and this is just Friday and I hopes to God you ain't going to get up here first thing this morning and start talking to me about no money because I about don't want to hear it. Walter, something the matter with you this morning? Ruth, no, I'm just sleepy as the devil. What kind of eggs you want? Walter, not scrambled. Ruth beats eggs, which I think is really funny because Walter doesn't want scrambled eggs, but she's scrambling them anyways. Paper come? Set off another A-bomb yesterday. Did they? What's the matter with you? Ain't nothing the matter with me, and don't keep asking me. Ain't nobody bothering you? Say, Colonel McCormick is sick. Is he now? Poor thing. Now, what is that boy doing in that bathroom all this time? He's just going to have to start getting up earlier. I can't be being late to work on account of him fooling around in there. Oh no, he ain't going to be getting up no earlier. No such thing. It ain't his fault that he can't go to bed because he got a bunch of crazy good-for-nothing clowns running around their mouths in what is supposed to be his bedroom after 10 o'clock at night. So they have, like, they don't have enough bedrooms for all of them. So Travis is sleeping on the couch. And Walter and his guy friends are over. They're his buddies, and they're up late. And then Travis like, okay, well, Travis can't go to sleep, and it's not his fault. And so she's like, our son needs sleep, and you're keeping him up at night. So Ruth has had it, really, with all of this. Walter, that's what you're mad about, ain't it? The things I want to talk about with my friends just couldn't be important in your mind, could they? Ruth, why you always got to smoke before you eat in the morning? Walter, just look at him down there, running and racing to work. Now he's looking out the window and just watching the world happen around him. Walter, you look young this morning, baby. Ruth, yeah. Just for a second, stirring the makes, just for a second you looked real young again. It's gone now. You look like yourself again. Which is so rude that he said that. Ruth, man, if you don't shut up and leave me alone. Walter, first thing a man ought to learn in his life is not to make love to no colored woman first thing in the morning. Y'all some evil people at 8 o'clock in the morning. Travis, Daddy, come on. Ruth, sit down and have your breakfast, Travis. Travis, Mama, this is Friday. Chuck coming tomorrow, huh? Ruth, you get your mind off money and eat your breakfast. Travis, this is the morning we're supposed to bring the 50 cents to school. Ruth, well, I ain't got no 50 cents this morning. Travis, teacher says we have to. Ruth, I don't care what teachers say. I ain't got it. Eat your breakfast, Travis. Travis, I am eating. Ruth, hush up now and just eat. Travis, you think Grandmama would have it? Ruth, no, and I want you to stop asking your grandmother for money. You hear me? Travis, golly, I don't ask her. She just give me it sometimes. Ruth, Travis Willard Younger, I got too much on me this morning to be. Travis, maybe Daddy. Ruth, Travis! Travis, can I maybe go carry some groceries in front of the supermarket after school then? Ruth, just hush, I said. So now Travis is starting to eat his breakfast really quickly. If you're through eating, you can make up your bed. Travis gets up. He's going to go make his bed. Travis, I'm gone. Ruth, come here. If you don't make this comb and fix this here head, you better. So she's like making him presentable, getting him up and ready for the day. Ruth, about to march out of here with a head looking like chicken slept in it. You just don't know where you get your stubborn ways. Travis, I'm gone. So Travis is mad because he struggles with the fact that his family doesn't have money, and he sees other kids around them that do, and he wants to earn money so he can have bring the 50 cents to school, you know? Ruth, and get your jacket too. Looks chilly out this morning. Get your car fare and milk money. And not 1 penny for no caps. You hear me? Travis, yes, ma'am. Ruth, oh, Mama makes me so mad sometimes. I don't know what to do. I wouldn't kiss that woman goodbye this morning. Not for nothing in the world. Not for nothing in the world. So there's this thing where, so Ruth lives with her mother-in-law, which is Mama. And so she says one thing and Mama does the other because she's also Travis's grandmother. So she's going to spoil her grandchild, even though it's going against what Ruth wants. And then as Travis is leaving, Ruth is like messing with his hair, and he's this like adolescent boy, and he's trying to be tough. He's like, but he also loves his mother. So the rest of this you guys are going to read on your own. I suggest reading 10 pages a night for the next 3 nights. This will keep you on track. The next part is that we have a lot of Walter talking about this check that's coming, and Mama, his mother, is getting this life insurance check because of her husband's death, Walter's dad's death. And Walter has this dream of being more than a chauffeur. He drives this old white gentleman around, and he's like, I want to have a business. I want to be able to make money for my family. I want to have a better life. I want to feel like I am worth something. And he really wants his mother to give him the money that she's getting so he can start this business with his buddy, because he believes that he's going to get a lot of money from it, and he wants to invest in it. And Mom is like, no. And Ruth doesn't want him to use that money that way either. They're being more realistic with it. And that's the problem with Walter. He's like, why isn't anyone supporting me in this dream? And it causes some issues with Ruth and Walter. If you notice, they're like right away, they're butting heads with each other. Because Ruth's like, you just care about yourself. You're not caring about anybody else. And then Walter's saying, you're crabby all the time. I don't want to be around you. So I am going to let you keep reading. If you are in class, we will, I had this really good recording of this, so you don't have to listen to me butcher this play. There is a YouTube version of the play, and hearing the actors do these characters put so much more justice to it than me reading it. But I hope that just this information helps you get some context, and that you enjoy reading this play as much as I do every time I have to read it. Okay, have a good rest of your day, and then I will have another video for Act 1, Scene 2. Bye, everyone.